slowly made her way toward the nurse's station, listening for further sound. There was nothing. The lack of noise had her more worried than the scream she'd heard not long ago. When she reached the end of the hallway, she peeked around the corner, but didn't see a single person. It was okay, she assured herself as she moved a little quicker to go down the next hallway, which led to the ER doors. She was sure her friend Sandy was in there helping Dr. Stamos with an unruly patient. The paramedics who had most likely brought the patient in must have already had the situation fully under control since she'd taken too long in the supply closet. Pushing open the ER door, she didn't immediately see the crew. Her worry was for nothing, she assured herself. "Dr. Stamos?" she called out. The ER door slammed shut behind her, taking her breath away and causing her to jump at least a foot in the air. What do we have here?" A man in desperate need of a haircut and shave took his time perusing her body from head to toe with beady eyes as he shifted from foot to foot in front of her. "Had I known such hot doctors were in this hospital, I would have come in a whole lot sooner." Lindsey took a few seconds to assess the situation. The man was obviously high on something, or more likely many somethings. She didn't want to be within grabbing distance of him. Taking a couple of side steps, she scooted away, trying to nonchalantly put much-needed distance between them. He wasn't necessarily acting violently at this point, but she almost felt naked with the way he was staring at her, as if he could see her body through the loose scrubs. Where in the hell were the paramedics and the doctor? And where was Sandy? "What are you doing in here?" Lindsey asked him with as much calmness as she could muster. His scabbed lips went up in a grin. "I need some medical care, Doc," he said, taking a step closer to her. She shifted sideways and backward. "I'm not a doctor, but I can get one for you," she said, wanting to get away from this man and to a phone where she could call for reinforcements. His laugh sent a chill through her. "This place seems like a ghost town to me, little Doc," he told her. Lindsey weighed her odds of getting through the door she'd just come in, but the man was nearer to it than she was. Plus, she wasn't sure where Dr. Stamos or Sandy were, and she felt like an animal in a small cage. "There are plenty of staff here, sir. If you'll just sit down over there, I'll get someone to help you right away," she said with bravado. "I think you're telling me a lie, little Doc. I have a feeling you're all by your lonesome in here. Now that just don't seem right," he told her as he continued to box her in. "Matter of fact, I bet we have us at least a good hour or so before we get more docs coming to your aid." His meaning was clear, and Lindsey had to swallow the bile in her throat. She'd grown up with 4 brothers, and this man wasn't going to take her down easily. The problem was that she didn't know where Sandy or Dr. Stamos were, or when anyone else would enter the hospital. She needed to get help. The man took another step toward her, and her fear was almost all-consuming. Fight or flight had most certainly kicked in, and she was ready to knee this guy as hard as she could and then run for help as he flopped on the ground like the weasel he obviously was. "You're wrong. There are plenty of people in the halls, but more importantly, the ambulance will be here any second now," she bluffed. If only her voice was stronger. Even in her own ears, it sounded weak and pathetic. There was a light of victory shining in the man's eyes that told her her bluff wasn't working. He knew they were virtually alone, and he held a royal flush in his hands. It was her strength against his, and though he wasn't a big man, he was bigger than she was. Just as she decided to run, a pained scream sounded from the only other emergency room. She twisted her head for only a moment to gaze in that direction. The moment was all her attacker needed. He pounced much